Good day to you. This is Anagalactic on the 5th day of February in 2026, and over here you'll see part of the cosmos called the moon. It's a natural circle that we see in the sky. It's also a sphere. That brings us to our topic today, geometry of the universe. One of my viewers has been pursuing me, most welcome. He's been pursuing me in a good sense. He's cornering me to actually explain what it is I mean by what I'm saying. By George, that really is the nub of the whole thing. That's what I'm going to be doing today, is explaining exactly what this new geometry means. And this is just a remarkable case of synchronicity. I discovered what is called by AI Overview intrinsic geometry. That is an actual term. It's a bona fide scientific term for a geometry which does not exist. What is spherical geometry? There is no such thing. There never has been. So just accept that for now, because that's part of this explanation. What is it that I discovered? Now, I have been explaining it along 3 tracks. Everything you're about to hear is purely my discovery, which of course raises a red flag. Mathematics is the basis for a proof in geometry, and that's the 2nd track, of course. But also, of course, is physics. Physical reality. That's what we want. Geometry is a tool we use in our minds. Mathematics is a tool that connects measurements with our geometry. But we don't really want either one. What we want is to understand the physical universe, which is why I got so deeply into philosophy. You have to figure out why you're doing this, why you want to know about the physical universe. And I could emphasize that, but I'm not going to. I have in prior videos. So there are 4 tracks. One of them you have to do yourself. The rest of it I will teach you now. The physics, the geometry, and the mathematics. All right. So the reason I like now to start with the moon is because you can see that it's absolutely supernatural. What do I mean by that? The correct path for teaching the highest form of science. That's all I deal with. This is deep. So the miracle that has occurred is about Neil Turok, one of the greatest scientists alive today. Kurtjai Mungal is by far the best science presenter, and he's the only reasonable science presenter. All the other podcasters are basically miserable failures. Mostly they're liars. Kurtjai Mungal is not. He's dead serious. He does all the homework. He's an unaccountably fantastic man, a grace to our industry of producing the truth in science. He certainly is trying. This will be his interview with Neil Turok, who is a physicist who's working in cutting-edge astrophysics. He studies black holes and the Big Bang and various models. So you're about to see Neil Turok on the Kurtjai Mungal show. He discovered what I discovered. I am now in a position to make Neil Turok internationally famous. This man has just made one of the most amazing discoveries in the history of astrophysics.
Standard physics describes black holes with these paradoxical interiors, these regions that end space-time. They have infinite curvature, information is lost. Now Professor Neil Turok is upending this view with black mirrors.
The critical phrase, just to begin with, is black mirror. I will be producing this same video more than once with better presentation. This is just an initial presentation of science's greatest discovery of all time, which is what? This will be about the black hole. Everybody would like to know what is inside a black hole. Well, I discovered 3 years ago what is inside a black hole using pure geometry. But what did Neil discover? He discovered what's inside the black hole. Now, in order to talk about that, you have to ask, what is the current theory of what's inside the black hole? That's one of the most interesting questions you could possibly ask. It's virtually equivalent to asking, where are we at in our model of the universe? which of course is what you and I want. This is a major turning point. We will go through some more of this video, but I want to tell you what Neil discovered. He discovered what's inside the black hole. That is such a strange thing to say, though. What do you mean, what's inside the black hole? Well, actually, nobody knows. Nobody knows whether it has an inside or not. And in fact, there is strong evidence that there is no such thing as a black hole. There is such a thing as a black hole. But once again, it's the mathematics that prevents us from actually understanding it. Physics believes that it cannot see anything without putting on mathematical eyeglasses. That is a tremendous mistake. Nobody can just pick up a Nobel Prize laureate paper for the past 70 years and understand it. You can't read Paul Dirac's book. You can't understand David Bohm's book. It can't be done. You have to know mathematics. But without me frothing at the mouth, Paul Dirac's equation, wave equation, that can be said in English. Never is. Never is. A calculus equation never is explained in English. Well, there's something mighty fishy about that. All of which is to say, most of us are terrorized by mathematics. I certainly was. Definitely was. And if it happened to me, I know it happened to you. I have the answer to that. I can save millions of children from having to go through that trauma. That you're just not good enough to understand what these creeps are saying about the universe. Because they hide behind their mathematical veil. Neil Turok rips aside the veil. And don't forget, in Greek, the tearing aside of the veil is the apocalypsis, the apocalypse. There are going to be a lot of veils torn aside very quickly, starting right now. I will say no more there. We are in the apocalypse. But what we have here is Neil Turok explaining what is a black hole. Let's listen to a little more. This is just to get me back on the thread.
We literally replicated Hawking's black hole calculation and we were very surprised we could do it at all.
It's a pursuit yielding a finite theory.
A theory without no infinities. So that's very exciting. It's
Double
brand new.
negative.
Potentially explaining particle generations.
We cancelled the vacuum anomalies. We explained why there are 3 generations of elementary particles. It is, as far as I know, the simplest explanation anyone has ever given.
And bypassing trappings like extra dimensions and cosmic inflation.
We don't need to keep inventing new particles, new dimensions, multiverses. I think the whole field sort of went haywire. We shouldn't overcomplicate physics.
While we touch on abstruse mechanics like non-invertible matrices and null energy conditions, don't worry, Neil is a master explicator and today's podcast requires no prior physics background. We even discuss Interstellar's depiction and why he deems ergodicity arguments for cosmic uniformity
All right,
to
this
be
is excellent.
absolutely wrong.
I've already listened to this once through, although not quite to the end. And it's the most fantastic science presentation I've ever seen, because it goes right to the heart of what I do, which is to cut through the nonsense, largely the mathematics, which is the problem is the mathematics. Because without the geometry, you can't see, you can't understand. And that is the problem with the black hole. So, to sum this up and close this off at a half an hour, I will be presenting throughout the day. Right now it's about 3 a.m. I was awoken in the middle of the night with an urge to do this. That happens to scientists who are as intense as I am. It's around the clock. You dream about it. That is no fucking lie, okay? Pardon me, I have to put this on pause quite frequently to just hack my fucking lungs out because I'm dying of campfire smoke inhalation poisoning. So every now and then I just have to put this on pause as quickly as I can and just cough my fucking lungs out. So you're looking at a dying man. So this is really dramatic. This is a race against time now. So to get right to the point and then close this off at a half an hour, because I don't want to fucking torment a goddamn American audience with something beyond a half an hour. It's just beyond the capacity of a typical American. Don't blame yourself. You've been brainwashed to be really a retard. But thank you for tuning in. You're going to get the goods. Really, with Neil Turok helping us along. So what does he say? His discovery, he and his team have discovered something that is basically the mirror image of what I discovered long before he did. But I'm not saying I'm ahead of him. I'm just saying I see the same thing. What Neil is lacking is the mathematical basis for his geometric perception, which is what? It's that the black hole does have a geometry, and believe it or not, it is intrinsic geometry, which, let me remind you, this is so dramatic that everything I say from now on is simply not going to be believable because it's the answer. Because it reverses all the trends that are now being forcibly reversed basically by a psychotic switch. This is the rational switch to invert everything you've been hearing about quantum mechanics and cosmology. This man has the solution to the Big Bang, which I already discovered. He also has the solution to the particle physics model, which I also have that solution. And now he's discovered what is actually the geometry of the, really should be called the supermassive black hole. There are different sizes of black holes. And a supermassive black hole, according to Wikipedia, is that size of black hole, which is more than 1 million solar masses. A most ridiculous metric in a most ridiculous science field in terms of, well, I think you understand everything has gone haywire, which is a term you just heard in this video. It's gone psychotic. And everybody knows it, but nobody knows what to do about it. Because these are the most pressing questions that science has ever asked. We know that if we can get any one of these answers, either about the Big Bang, the black hole, or quantum superposition or quantum entanglement, that we'll have all the answers. We'll have all the answers. Of course, there's an evil player too. So this goes all the way. I mean, there's nothing more exciting or interesting or frustrating and baffling than this. And I've got the answer. Way beyond Neil Turok. But really, from my point of view of what he's doing, he's way beyond me. The only reason that I put myself ahead of Neil, who worked very hard to become a physicist, I didn't do any work at all. I have made no investment in physics in my life. I'm a Bible scholar. That's all I've ever done. Well, except for the past 17 years, I have been into astronomy. We're coming up on 30 minutes. I'm going to have to cut this off. So what is the black hole? It's a mirror. It's a mirror. And on the other side is the anti-universe. I know, but that's actually true. I've proved it. This can be proved. But it goes way deeper than that. This actually goes way beyond spooky. This goes way beyond religion. You're going to be seeing into something that actually is only described in the most intensive apocalyptic literature, namely Revelation and Enoch and Ezekiel. Those are the only three locations that I've found where this level of really divulgement of heaven itself, what are we even capable of, what are we capable of as humans of understanding about the universe? This is why I told you, you have to ask yourself why you're doing this, because you're basically going to look into the actual structure of what God created originally. I hope that entices you. It doesn't turn you off. We'll have much, much more. Stay tuned. Thank you so much.